we do know from our own reporting there was some sort of beef there between him and one of the co-workers. He was very upset, then brought that weapon onto the base here and opened fire. We know he shot the person that he was having that disagreement with and then moved to 4 other people. Then the soldiers jumped in and were able to tackle him. We talked about that new image that we have of him being transferred into military custody. Hopefully we'll put that up on the screen so everyone can see it. One of the things that struck me is his size as he was being moved through here. There is additional video that we hope to have a little bit later on this afternoon of him being transferred into military custody.
Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today, Warriors. I have an update with amazing details about the Fort Stewart shooting that happened just yesterday. We got to talk about this and a little bit about the shooter's background and some very disturbing details that have emerged. That's what we're going to be talking about today on Chat With Me, Linda B. All right, Warriors, you know what to do. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and make sure you select all notifications so you never miss a video. Stick around to the end. Let's go. All right, I have some amazing updates and details about the Fort Stewart shooter that happened just yesterday. It is 28-year-old Cornelius Cementria Radford, who is an active duty logistics sergeant, active duty. I don't think he ever went into combat from what the reports are that I saw. It looks like it has come about that he got into an argument with someone, and he also sent his aunt a very cryptic message prior to the actual event, and it happened right before 11 a.m. local time on the Fort Stewart campus. So I'm just going to show you some pictures and some information and even some disturbing details about how he grew, not how he grew up, but like pictures of him when he looks to be about 12 or 13 years old. So let's just get into this. All right, so you're looking here. This is the picture of the suspect. And you know what they did with the other suspect in the Park Avenue, Manhattan shooting, where he went into the NFL headquarters building. I believe different reports are saying that he was angry at the NFL and others were not. And that was another shooter. His name was Shane Tamura. And they said that he was possibly white. So is this possibly white? Is this possibly white? It doesn't matter about ethnicity. I'm just letting you guys know that on the left, they like to demonize white folks. I mean, they just like to demonize. Nobody should be demonized, whether you're black, whether you're white, Asian, Latino. No one should be demonized. You should be looked at according to your own character. Only that, okay? And I know that doesn't happen all the time. I'm not naive. But this is the shooter right here. Okay, again, this is Cornelius Cementria Radford, 28 years old.
This morning, shortly before 11 o'clock, an active duty soldier assigned to Fort Stewart, Georgia, shot and wounded 5 of his fellow soldiers here on Fort Stewart. Thankfully, all are in stable condition and all are expected to recover. The alleged shooter is in custody. We have reestablished security. I have lifted all lockdown measures on Fort Stewart, and there is currently no threat to the local community. I'd like to recognize and thank our Army law enforcement and medical personnel and our partners from local, state, and federal law enforcement and emergency services for their quick response and support. I would also like to thank the brave soldiers who immediately intervened and subdued the shooter. These soldiers, without a doubt, prevented further casualties. Our wounded soldiers were initially evacuated to Wynn Army Community Hospital right here on Fort Stewart. All arrived in stable condition, and 3 of the 5 required surgical intervention. 2 have been transported to Memorial Hospital in Savannah, Georgia for additional care. We have identified the alleged shooter as Sergeant Cornelius Radford, an automated logistics sergeant assigned to 2nd Brigade Combat Team. Sergeant Radford has not previously deployed to combat. Sergeant Radford has been interviewed by the Army Criminal Investigation Division and is currently in pretrial confinement, awaiting a charging decision by the Office of the Special Trial Counsel.
He mentioned 6 soldiers that intervened and stopped this man from causing more harm, and they received awards, and they should be seen and heard. And I do have a clip to share with you because these are the brave men and women. This is what it's all about. When even one of your own actually turns against you, this is what we want in our military. And I'm talking about the 6 brave people who stopped Cornelius Radford. This is what we want. We don't want what Cornelius Radford did. Don't mistake me what I'm saying. We want what these soldiers represent right here.
Publish the orders.
The Meritorious Service Medal is awarded to First Sergeant Joshua Arnold for exceptionally meritorious service on August 6, 2025. Thomas for exceptionally meritorious service on August 6, 2025. Master Sergeant Thomas exhibited remarkable for exceptionally meritorious service on August 6, 2025. Staff Sergeant Taylor demonstrated extraordinary. The Meritorious Service Medal is awarded to Staff Sergeant Robert Pacheco for exceptionally meritorious service on August 6, 2025. Staff Sergeant Pacheco distinguished himself through selfless service. And the Meritorious Service Medal is awarded to Sergeant Eve Rodarte for exceptionally meritorious service on August 6, 2025.
So these brave men and women received meritorious awards for what they did by subduing the shooter. This could have could have possibly caused people's lives to have been lost if God hadn't used these men and women to intervene. And this is what we want. Brave men and women to stand up for what is right. And we need to remember them, okay? But we do need to know that this man, the shooter, I'm talking about the shooter, again, his name is Cornelius Radford, 28-year-old, active logistics sergeant, had some depression issues from his mother, who died. His mother died when he was a child, according to reports. So I'm just going to read something from the New York Post just to let you guys, and again, I'm sorry to have to tell you guys that dreaded R word did come up. All right, this is coming by way of the New York Post. We've seen that little clip there, and it just goes on to talk about that he was accused of shooting 5 soldiers at the Army base before he was quickly tackled by other troops. And this is him right here. Okay, this is the shooter, being taken into custody right there by the military police. All right. And he went to Liberty County Jail in Hinesville, Georgia, Wednesday, August 6th, which was yesterday. And authorities are still probing a motive for the shooting and refuse to speculate on what could have triggered him. But it says his father, Eddie Radford, told the Times that the sergeant had recently been trying to get a transfer and had complained to his family in the past of racism, that's the dreaded R word, at the base where he'd been stationed for years. He had been stationed at the base since 2022. He added that his son did not have a history of serious mental illness, but had struggled in the past with depression after his mom died when he was a child. Radford, he was enlisted in 2018, stationed at Fort Stewart since 2022, opened fire on the base with a personal handgun. This was not a military weapon, but a personal handgun. And again, he mentioned that he wanted to transfer. It made it seem like he was experiencing racism. And this is not how you deal with issues that you are having. Okay, this again is him and Cornelius Radford, and he is due to face August 20th hearing in Hinesville, Georgia, which is a small, town near the base, for allegedly driving under the influence and running a red light just after 1 a.m. on May 18th. So he's already scheduled for something that he did on May 18th for a DUI, after 1 a.m. according to a citation and court filing. And he was given a blood test. And this is the DUI situation I'm talking about right now. He was given a blood test and freed on $1,818 bond, the documents said. So he seems to have already been troubled. Okay, I'm going to show you him being another video clip, and I'm going to show you some pictures of him as a youth.
Back in this community, they want to know exactly what happened. But talking about the suspect, Cornelius Radford, we do know the New York Times has talked to his father. He actually made some allegations saying his son wanted to transfer from this base and was facing racism. So we actually reached out to the Third ID to ask about those claims, and so far they have not gotten back to us yet about the claims. They said there's been sort of an active investigation ongoing in terms of the claims made by Cornelius Radford. But we do know from our own reporting there was some sort of beef there between him and one of the co-workers. He was very upset, then brought that weapon onto the base here and opened fire. We know he shot the person that he was having that disagreement with and then moved to 4 other people. Then the soldiers jumped in and were able to tackle him. We talked about that new image that we have of him being transferred into military custody. Hopefully we'll put that up on the screen so everyone can see it. One of the things that struck me is his size as he was being moved through here. There is additional video that we hope to have a little bit later on this afternoon of him being transferred into military custody. We're also told today at 9:25 that the Secretary of the Army will be here. There'll be a news conference, so hopefully we'll learn more information.
What I have there. So again, we always get this dreaded R word that seems to pop up, and I don't know what the situation was, but a lot of times in the recent, I'm not talking about this particular instance because he may have been facing something that was legitimate. I don't know, but in recent times, every time someone hollers racism, it turns out not to be racism. That woman that was twerking in her uniform, the flight attendant, the video went viral. I can't remember if she worked for Spirit. I think United or American Airlines. And she was twerking on the clock in her uniform on the plane. It went viral. She was celebrating her promotion. And she said it was because of racism, the reason that they fired her. And I'm like, no, they saw how you looked when they hired you. And then they saw how you looked when they promoted you. So it had nothing to do with that. We got to stop hollering racism because of something stupid that we did. Now, I'm not saying he did anything stupid. Clearly, he was suffering from some kind of problems. I'm going to show you some pictures of him when he was little, and it looks like him because the nose, the face, and everything is the exact same. And his father, Eric Radford, did admit that he suffered from depression when his mother died when he was a child. Okay, so here's some pictures of the Fort Stewart shooter when he was a child. You see, and I had to blur out the middle, but he is looking to be about 12 or 13 years old. See, it's not guns, it's the mental illness problem that's in our country right now. And I just pray for all families involved. Again, this is the shooter has been sent to the Liberty County jail. He's detained. He's expected to, have expected for hearings in the near future. And we're going to see and get more details about this whole thing. This is tragic, but it's not really as tragic as it could have been. Okay, because nobody died. And we're thankful for that. This could have been absolutely horrible. But we got to talk about the fact that racism keeps rearing its ugly head. And I'm going to tell you something. The left-leaning media is complicit. We have to answer for our own actions. We can't blame it on anyone else, but they are definitely, in my opinion, complicit because they always seemingly promote. If you look at old newscasts from left-leaning legacy mainstream media over the years, let's just go back about 15 years and look at how they report crimes where one person is Black and one is white. They make sure you know that one person is Black and the other is white. They put extra emphasis on the word Black, white, and they make sure, and back then it used to be always a situation where the person was white that had unalived the person that is Black. And for different scenarios and different situations, I'm not talking about guilt or who is innocent here, but they really push those out into the forefront. And crimes that were the same type of crime, well, two people were the same ethnicity, we never heard about them. We only hear about the ones where one is Black and one is white. Those are the only ones that we hear about. This is on purpose. This is by design. This is to cause us to be upset with one another. And I'm just going to bring it up. I'm just going to say what I got to say. But we got to talk about the fact that we've got some problems in this country with people just attacking folks for no good reason. We had the Carmelo Anthony situation. Whatever your feelings are about that, okay, this is a person who attacks someone, to me, who did not give him a life-threatening response that deserved that force. Not in my opinion. A push or a shove is, in my opinion, not life-threatening, and more information is going to come out on that, and we'll see after the trial. But from the reports I've heard, it doesn't look to be anything life-threatening, especially with the video footage that came out. Then you've got the brawl in the downtown Cincinnati area where they literally locked out a woman cold. He was so wrong for that. He blindsided her. They've got most of those people. I think they still got one out, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody can check me on that they still have to arrest. And again, they had beaten the people down where they were of no consequence, where they could not even hurt them. There are no threat. So whatever happened that caused the argument, by the time you beat them into the pavement, you don't need to keep beating and stomping them. Okay, some people are feeling real entitled, and you guys are acting like animals. Okay, you're being animalistic, you're being thugs, and you want us not to say anything. This is just horrible, diabolical, satanic behavior. You need to get your life right with the Lord. quick before Jesus Christ sky open. But I'm not going to preach right now. I'll preach in another video. But then we have the other incidents where the shooter, was coming in shooting up people on Park Avenue. So we've got a mental health problem. We also have a problem with people who are angry, at Whitey. Let's just be honest. You got some folks out here like that. But let's just be clear. Most people do not behave. I don't know what the percentage is, y'all. I really don't. I'm just going to keep it 100. I don't hang around people like that. I'm not like that. I've never been in a physical fight before. So I'm not a violent person. So just so you know that. And I can't stress that enough that, who I grew up around, my family, we're just, I say that, I feel the need to say that because I don't want people to get the wrong impression when a Black person does something wrong. Not all of us behave in such a manner, just so we're clear. Law-abiding Christian ones I grew up around and who raised me. Christian, hardworking, never on public assistance, never looked for handouts, looked for work and did it honestly. Okay, so you have a lot of Black people out there that are like that. It's unfortunate that the ones that get all the attention are the ones that are not behaving correctly. Evil always gets more attention than good. I always remember that. You're not going to put on the news, breaking news. Man and woman, Black couple who are Christian, who are both saved, and they love each other. They're in love with God and each other and raised their family right, homeschooled them. They made perfect grades, A+, got a scholarship. You're not going to get news reports on that. But there are people out there who are like that. I'm telling you. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, select all notifications so you never miss a video. You all be blessed. Love God, your family, these United States of America, and march on, warriors.